In July 2016, Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe announced a revenue shortfall totaling over $266 million for the past fiscal year.
The plan that I presented to you addresses the Commonwealth's revenue shortfall while protecting core services like education and public safety.
On top of the current deficit, he announced his two-year, $102 billion budget was projected to face another $1.5 billion revenue shortfall, requiring the state to make cuts going into the 2017 General Assembly session.
It was not a pro-higher ed session, not nearly to the extent that it had been last year.
Within the realm of higher education, funds for Virginia's 14 public institutions remain the same for the upcoming 2017 fiscal year. However, Longwood University saw their 2018 budget slashed by over $350,000. Trying to gain more insight, I invited Virginia Senators Frank Ruff and Mark Peake to campus to discuss the revenue shortfall's effect on the 2017 General Assembly session and the state's approach to higher ed. So thank you for joining me today, Senator Ruff. Going through this past Senate session, what was the climate kind of like towards higher education?
I serve on the Finance Committee, and our job is generally to protect in a situation like this. Last year we had plenty of money because the governor believed that the revenues were going to be good. So we spent money, and a lot of times in situations that were one-time fixes for budget needs, not permanent ones.
According to Ruff, when McAuliffe recognized the revenue deficit, he cut roughly 2% from each institution. With the budget amendments this session, he sought to return some of the money cut. District 22 Senator Mark Peake, who represents Prince Edward among other counties in the Southside region, weighed in on the role the shortfall played in Senate decisions. In comparison to Ruff's nearly 20 years of experience, Peake said he was thrown into session just a day after being sworn in, following a special election for U.S. Congressman Tom Garrett's former position.
Everybody was pretty reasonable, knowing that we were short, the budget was short a couple $2 billion, so everybody was pretty reasonable about what they expected. So I think everything went pretty smoothly, as smoothly as it could go.
Both Ruff and Peake held positive views of the session's compromises regarding higher ed, highlighting a 2% raise for faculty members after funding for a 3% raise was canceled in 2016. From the university's side, Vice President of Administration and Finance Ken Copeland offered insight on how the session's tone appeared to institutions and how the budget changes affected the university's operations.
Some of the cuts that we had anticipated did not materialize. Some of the cuts that we had anticipated were lessened. So we're no, to make the long story short, we're no worse off at the end of this 2017 session than we were at the end of the 2016 session.
Copeland said state appropriated funds cover less than half the cost of government mandates.
The fact of the matter is, when, as an example, the salary increases that I just mentioned, those basically are mandated to us by the state. And the general fund basically covers the amount of money that is appropriated to us by the state. It covers about 35% of our education and general mission. So we have to cover the other 65% with tuition and fees. When the 3% salary increase is handed down to us, we have to cover 65% of that increase.
As the state government has placed the cost of higher education under more scrutiny, tuition caps have been proposed to regulate how much universities can charge students.
We have lost control at some of the universities, and we probably, that's one area we probably should have reined them in. This is a great facility here. The gymnasium is a great facility, but that costs money. It's getting money that's going to be recovered from the student or the student's family.
Now they have workout facilities, they have theaters, they have restaurants. It's a country club experience, and it costs, and all the money is being spent to attract students, young students, by offering all these amenities, which really are not a part of an education. But that's why tuition's going up as well.
In addition to tuition caps, other higher ed legislation was passed regarding topics like free speech on campus and what counts as a foreign language credit. Reviewing both proposed and passed bills, I wondered at what point would the state cross a line in the operations of a university? What's your thoughts on just the larger message of government becoming more involved in university operations?
Not for that. I am against government mandates, state mandates that we pass along to either local colleges, local governments, or whoever it may be, local school systems, and we do not provide funding.
There is a gray area regarding the amount of influence the state should have over public institutions considering the funding they provide. But to Copeland, when it comes to governing a school, the responsibility lies on the shoulders of the university's Board of Visitors.
It's a balancing act, and I can certainly understand where someone from the House or Senate would say higher ed's out of control, spending's out of control, it's too expensive. Education is too expensive, but I'm not. I wish I was smart enough to figure out how to make it free. You know, as is being proposed by some folks. You know, a free education. Someone's going to have to pay for it.
As we've seen, the future of higher education is a complex issue. However, we at On the Record will continue to seek answers for you. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Halle Parker.